Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How
How
are
are you
you?
doing?
I'm happy to talk with you. I'm really happy. I really enjoy the show, and as I enjoy most of the things that you do, actually, so I was excited to see you together on screen. And one of the things that I like about your work and about the show is how you manage to put some comedy into very dark things because this deals with very dark aspects of human nature. So I want to ask you, how does comedy has helped you, as actors to delve into dark subjects, and if that you can translate it into your life even.
I mean, I know it's just me as a viewer, if something kind of makes me giggle a little bit, whether I'm conscious of it or not, it's sort of like a little key into like opening up kind of who I am, and it helps me connect to something. If it can make me laugh, then they've sort of cracked and tapped into the little small guy inside of me. And so if that part is open, now I'm open and susceptible to being really moved by all the dramatic parts of things. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think as
That
a viewer, the stuff about the TV that I like to watch too is pleasurable. And you have to find pleasure, you have to create pleasure in television, and you can do it in several different ways. Like if you look at something like True Detective or whatever, there can be pleasure in a darkness, in a macabre thing. But one of the, I think, best ways to do it is to have some lightness or some weirdness so that people, when they're viewing it, really have a pleasurable experience. I keep coming back to that because there's stuff, there's stuff even that people are like, oh, you should watch this, it's good. And I'll be like, yeah, I know it's good, but I know I watched 10 minutes and I'm like, yeah, I get it, it's good, but
Right.
it's not pleasurable. And there's something like about this, which I feel like, again, the stuff that I want to make, where it's like I could watch this over and over and over again. And as producers watch these cuts come in, like you can just watch it again and again and again because it contains a pleasurable element. It's enjoyable to watch. And I think that humor is a big piece of that.
Yeah, I think humor also when it happens, like what you're saying, and it makes me listen more for some reason.
mm,
I somehow feel like I relate, and I think the humor that Steve minds in the thing is also, it's through language but it's also a lot of behavior, and he captures like sort of these idiosyncrasies about the characters, and I feel like the funniest people we know in real life, there's something strange about them that you always talk to your friend about, like how so and so always does that one thing, and that defines them. And I feel like Steve's really good at picking out those things and creating characters like that, and it's really fun to be a part of that.
and it's interesting because watching Steve's work, I think that he likes to put characters, facing off to one with each other, and most of the times, and in this show in particular, these characters have to face off, making front to the like the deepest human emotions, and I think that sex has a lot to do with it. How would you say that sex is a primary force that in a certain way move these characters?
For these characters,
Yeah.
I mean, for Floyd, he's sort of defined his world by it. If we realize his past and sort of who he had been in terms of his body and what he was and who he is now,
Mhm.
I think that there is a real you know there's a real desperation for some of that lost glory. And also, I think that like his relationship with Linda is obviously like suffering, and he's looking for an intimacy that isn't there, and a connection that isn't there. And he's under the gun with work, with money, with stress, and with this thing that seemed to have broken between them. And so, sex can come in and color a lot of those needs, even though it might not be the primary need.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is about one. I think for me, watching us and reading it, I think it's a lot about wanting to feel wanted, wanting to feel vital again, wanting to feel connected. And I think the experiences themselves have meaning and have impulse and have, satisfaction to them or not. But I think there's a loneliness to the characters, and they're searching for it through this thing, and will that actually satisfy them?
In your case, Jason, I don't know if you want to add something.
Yeah, I think in the case in my character, in the remaining 3 episodes, there's a point there where he sort of explains a little bit about this, where the sex for him is an effort to live a little bit or explore a little bit more of a dynamic areas of his life that he feels he may not have gotten into. Like some people may have wanderlust, like, well, I've never been to, Asia, and they want to go there. Like for him, it's about, sexual encounters. He feels a little sheltered and underdeveloped in that area, and kind of sweetly and naively thinks that's a vital part to him have to live a full life, and it doesn't really turn out that great.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Jason, Linda, David. It's been such a pleasure talking with you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
You too.